This is example 1 for the sketch-based mirrors, fillets, and trims lesson. We're going to start exercise 1 by using an inch 3 decimal place part template. So we can select OK. And then we are going to go ahead and save our file. So if we save it and we navigate to the location where we're saving our lesson files, we need to create a new folder called Lesson 5 Mirrors, Fillets, and Trims. Now I've already gone ahead and done that. So within that folder, we can now save our file as Lesson 5 Example 1 and your name. In my case, I'm having trouble typing today. In my case, I'm going to label it instructor. Now, on the top plane, we're going to go ahead and start a sketch. And we're going to be looking at using the mirror tool and the fillet tool. However, before we begin, we need to create a center line. And this is going to be used to define what we mirror around. So once we've created our center lines, one horizontal and one vertical, we can press escape to get out of that tool. And now we'll create the geometry that we want to mirror. So with a line tool active, we're going to create two lines. It doesn't matter where they intersect, and they can actually be above the center line. It's just important that they do snap to that center line. Now we're going to use a fillet command. So if we select the fillet command, this is going to add a radius to the corner. So first we need to define what our radius is going to be, and I want our radius to be 1/2 inch. So enter 1/2 inch, and then we can either select one edge and the next edge, or we can simply select the corner where we want the fillet to land. And with that complete, we can select OK to accept the settings. And you'll see we've been left with a smart dimension so that we can modify that radius if we'd like to. Now let's just add one more little bit of geometry. We're going to add a circle to the center point of that radius. And then we'll go ahead and smart dimension that circle to a diameter of 1/2 inch. So now we've got our geometry completed that we want to mirror. We can mirror it around this vertical line, and to do so we'll select mirror, and then under entities to mirror we're going to select the entities that we'd like to mirror, and then we'll select mirror about, and we can select the line we want to mirror around. You can see our little yellow preview of what's going to be mirrored. If we're happy with that, we can select OK. And then we want to mirror it again around the horizontal line, but we're going to do it a little bit differently here. I'm simply going to drag a box to highlight all those entities, making sure that I didn't highlight that vertical center line, because when we use the mirror command, we always just need one center line so that SOLIDWORKS knows which line it's mirroring around, and that's always going to be the center line. And this time when I select the mirror entities, because I already had my entities selected, it automatically knew to just complete that mirror. If we grab onto the corner, we can see that we've got an object that's always going to remain symmetrical around that origin. This is perfect. And now we can go ahead and dimension the distance between the holes. I'm going to dimension to 1.5 inches in the vertical distance, and if I select the center point of one circle and the center point of the next circle, I can dimension the width to 3 inches. And the advantage to sketching it this way is we've defined our profile using the center points of these holes, because quite often you're going to be sketching a part based on the bolt circle locations, not the outside geometry of a base such as this one. And we can see if we update our radius to a larger radius, let's try 5/8, the whole profile updates and the holes stay in the same location because we've dimensioned the holes and not the outside of the profile. Okay, so we can go ahead and select the features, and then we'll select boss extrude, and we're going to enter a depth of 1/4 inch, and select OK. Now there's one more step we want to add to this little base, so we're going to select the top face of it, and we want to make sure we select sketch, not edit sketch. Let's make sure we select sketch, and then normal 2, and we can select the corner rectangle tool to sketch a rectangle to one side of the origin, snapping the corners to the edge of our outer profile. Again, we need a center line to mirror around, so we'll draw that center line in vertically from the origin. And this time, instead of creating the mirror before I add my dimensions, I'm going to show you a few dimensioning tricks. So we add the smart dimension to the width, enter a dimension of 1/4 inch, and then when we dimension the edge of our rectangle to the center line, we can either put a dimension to the center line, or we can drag to the far side of that center line and add a dimension for what will be the symmetrical distance. So if I enter 1 inch, we can see that I've defined it as what it's going to be like when it mirrors. And now we can go ahead, press escape to get out of our dimension command, and highlight all those entities, including the center line to mirror around, and select the mirror command. I'll just rotate around a little bit. We've got our fully defined sketch, so we'll select features and select boss extrude, and we can enter a depth of 2 inches and select OK. We've now concluded our little bracket. I hope this example was a help.